Hey girls, so we're gonna try a Tiffany Uncut about abiding in Christ, but first I just have to show you this new maternity dress I got. It's from Pink Blush Maternity. Isn't that so cute? And it has pockets, girls. It has pockets. Like, here it is. Isn't that so cute? Ignore that stuff in the background. We're having a garage sale trying to get rid of stuff. Isn't that dress like the cutest thing ever? I'm in love with it. And by the way, girls, this is crazy. In a week and a half, we're gonna be 6 months pregnant. Isn't that nuts? Like, it's going by so fast. It's crazy. So anyway, I wanted to share just a few thoughts about abiding in Christ. And this is something that I think we're all continually growing in and learning. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Like, what helps you abide in Christ? What does that look like in your life? But these are just a few things of how it looks in my life. I used to have a very super spiritual idea of what abiding in Christ was. Like, it means I must be spending hours with God every day. And it means I must be thinking about God all day long and never distracted by boys or clothes or all the things that I always get distracted with. And I've started actually seeing it in a very different way. So there are 3 ways that abiding in Christ look for me right now. The first way is just by sharing my everyday moments with God. For example, when I started dating my husband, James, I would get so distracted. I would go to pray and it was like all I could think about was James. I was just like, Jesus, like, I love James. Jesus, like, he's so cool. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm such a terrible Christian. Like, I can't pray about anything but this guy. And I really felt like God just put in my heart, like, Tiff, share that excitement with me. Like, don't try to hide it. Don't try to bury it. Like, share it with me. I'm giving you that excitement. Share it with me. And so I started doing that and I would just be like, Lord, I'm so excited. Like, James and I did this today, or James this or James that, and like, thank you so much for this relationship, God. And it turned that whole relationship into a form of abiding in Christ because I just was sharing each moment of it with God. And it doesn't have to be just spiritual moments. It can be everything, like things you're struggling with, like, God, give me your perspective on this. Like, this person's really annoying me. Help me to see the beautiful things in them. Or what should I do in this situation? Or thank you for this, or whatever it is. Just share your moments with God. I have my hands in my pockets right now, P.S. Okay, the second thing is seeing things as gifts from God. Like, our days are surrounded by gifts from God, but we don't always take the time to see them and recognize them as his gifts to us. So for example, like sunsets, sunrises, music, it doesn't even have to be Christian music, and beauty all around us, cute clothes, like a good hair day, great food, like all of these things we can see as a gift from God. And so when you start to see life and the things you go through each day as gifts from God, and it's just like it changes your whole perspective on your day and on life, and it just makes life so much richer and so much more like full of God's presence. Like, you see his presence all around. I remember being in college and starting to understand God's love for me. And it was like everywhere I looked, I saw his love, like in the breeze, in the birds singing, in the sunset. Like, it was all like, God, you're painting the sunset in my favorite colors tonight. God, these birds are singing and it's like your love song to me. And it might sound really cheesy, but it just like completely changed my perspective on the day and helped my heart stay connected, stay aware of God all day. Because I think that's what abiding in Christ is. It's like that connection, that awareness of him throughout our day. And then the third and final thing I'll share is that's been hugely helpful for me is just slowing down and breathing, which I need to do right now. And I think we live in a world, at least here in upstate New York in the USA, it's a very fast-paced culture. It's a very busy culture. People pride themselves and find importance and significance in being busy all the time. And I've definitely been there. I remember actually seeing an Instagram post from one of my pastor friends, and he was like honoring this lady for all that she's given to the youth ministry at the church. And he was like, she's in school full time, she works part time, she's here every night of the week, and he's going on. And I just read that and I thought, why is that what we honor in our culture? Because there can be seasons of life where God calls us to do a lot of things and it is a busy season, but there's a supernatural grace for it. Like, he gives us the strength. But I think a lot of times our life looks busy not because God has called us to do all those things, but because maybe we're afraid of saying no, we feel bad, maybe we're afraid of missing out on something cool, maybe we don't know how to set boundaries, maybe we're afraid of not being busy. We're afraid of what life would look like if it were less full. Like, what would we feel? Would we feel alone? Would we feel sad? And I think when we live a life that's extremely busy, not by God's design, that kind of destroys us. I've seen it destroy marriages. I've seen it destroy mental health. I've seen it destroy walks with God. Like, God calls us to rest. And a few years ago, I felt like God spoke to me, Tiff, you can't rest, or you don't know how to rest because you don't trust me. Like, you think that you're the one who's doing all this stuff that needs to get done, but I'm the one who's doing it. And when we rest, it forces us to trust God, to trust that He's God and we are not. And anyway, so slowing down is huge. And some days that just looks like the 60 seconds in my car before I get out to go into my appointment. I just have to breathe and just still my mind, still my heart, unplug, look away from my phone, turn off the music, just get with God, remember maybe a verse, pray a little bit, listen for His voice, and just still my heart and slow down. And that makes a huge difference. Also for me, something that my husband and I have started doing is spending Sunday afternoons in a coffee shop, and we bring like our favorite Christian books that we're reading right then, our journal, our Bible. We just pray and we meditate and we think and we talk about what God's teaching us, and that just helps us to slow our whole week down and to kind of recalibrate from the beginning. And so just finding little ways to slow down, whether that's a block of time, whether that's a few seconds at different points throughout your day, that helps too with staying connected with God. Because I think filling our lives with too much noise and too much busyness kind of steals away our ability to be aware of God's presence and nearness. It makes it hard to be aware of Him. So those are the things that have really helped me personally to abide in Christ. So I hope that they can help you in some way too. I can't wait to hear in the comments what abiding in Christ looks like for you. And I love you girls, and we'll be back on Tuesday with the K-Love series. I've got 2 weeks of videos from K-Love Fan Awards, and it's going to be awesome. So see you then. Bye, dress. Bye from Minnie.